Good morning. Good morning, guys. How are you doing today? Are you excited for the topic today? Let me know in the chat if you are looking forward to hear about my topic today. I'm going to be talking about a very important myth. It is important that you know it is a myth about nonprofits because this myth can really cost you your nonprofits. You cannot operate anymore. You cannot stay in existence anymore as a nonprofit if you do not address this myth and just wipe it out of your brain. At the end of the day, whatever we do in our life, it's a mindset. Whatever we're doing, if it's nonprofit, about our relationships, about friendships, about parenthood, anything we do, it's a mindset. So myth or myth is like anything that is not true actually can cost you your nonprofit, can cost you your relationship, whatever that myth is. So today I will be addressing a nonprofit myth. I'm gonna tell you what is that, and type in the chat whatever platform you are in, watching YouTube, Instagram, or LinkedIn, Facebook. Let me know if you have any question, and I'll answer your question as we move forward with the live today. So, if you've been in nonprofit for a while, you should hopefully know that you have a lot of requirements in order to keep your exempt status, in order to get funding, in order to get grants, in order to stay in a good standing with your state, with your community, with your beneficiaries. You have a lot of requirements. A lot of work is expected from you. So few things like it, I want you to just think about. So it will help you to understand what I'm talking about. If you just think about this as I'm telling you this truth, and this will help us like address the myth. So first thing, if this is not your first time listening to me, you would know already. I tell you, like IRS has a separate section for nonprofits on their website. They don't have any other thing that has like a separate section. Let me open there to tell you what are the tabs. 1 second. So they have IRS, they have help, they have news, they have English or whatever language it is, and then they have charities and nonprofit, and they have tax pros. That's it. They don't have individuals. Those are the tabs, that main tabs on the top of the IRS website. What does that tell you? It is really important. They have tremendous information about nonprofits and how can you stay in a good standing, and how to really keep your nonprofit in the best shape possible. So you can only imagine how many requirements do they have for you. Nonprofits, they have to have a segregation of duty. So, like we have the board of director, you have the staff, you have the volunteers, you have consultants. For example, of the segregation of duty is you cannot, if you are the one who's going to implement the project, you cannot be the one who's approving. You have to have at least like someone else with you. That's why they have like different staff member. And don't tell me the board, because this is a separate conversation that I haven't spoke about the board with you before, I think, but I have my own view on the board. And I will probably share it later with you guys, but board is not always there. Board is not gonna be in a daily day status. Are you paying your board? You cannot pay your board. So it's not the board who is supposed to have that segregation of duty. Yeah, there's like board meetings and all of that. We're not going to get into that yet, or here in this live today. However, so you have to have like separate people doing different things. You have to have financial control. And this can be also part of segregation of duty. So, for example, if I am writing the check, I cannot also sign the check. I cannot be the one who is doing the wire transfer. There has to be separate duty. And that's really important for nonprofits. Then you have audit sometimes. So it's audit is not required for every nonprofit. It depends on what state you are in. States have different threshold when your nonprofit has to perform an audit, but this can be required for your nonprofit. So you want to make sure you have the capacity to have that audits performed. If you want to get a grant, especially when it comes to government grants and also some corporations, and it depends on the size of the grant, they will require that you have an audited financial statements. So how can you do that and pay for an audit if you do not have capacity to do that, right? So this is some stuff just to think of. And just think of this, like, if you, a lot of you guys like wants to get grants. However, do you think you can get grants without having the capacity to report for that grant, without having the capacity to handle the money in that grants? And one thing I want to mention about audits, don't think if you have a bookkeeper already or an accountant or whatever, like financial help like you have, your accountant cannot be the one who does the audit. It has to be someone independent. It cannot be your staff member or your consultant who's doing the accounting. So think about it. If I'm going to check, giving my opinion on something that you did, I cannot, or you have, like, I cannot be the one who is doing that thing and then giving my opinion. I might like say, oh, it's amazing and no error, or I might be very criticizing that and would be unfair even if I'm the one who did it. So that's if someone is stealing something or whatever, like a lot of components for audits. This is not our topic here today, but it is the thing. You need to pay for an auditor. You need to pay for a lot of things as a nonprofit. If you want to have an event, probably you have to pay for venue. Like even if you get venue donated to you, still, like, you have still to have something. You have to pay for staff. Even if you have volunteers, you cannot rely 100% on volunteers. So anyway, you have to have capacity. And even if you do not think of any of that, just the requirement that the IRS has, and also the requirement for you to get funded, only these things, imagine how much capacity you need to have. Another thing, and it's a very important thing, whatever your mission is for your nonprofit, it can be anything. It can be emergency relief for like whatever happens, like earthquakes, floods, COVID. Hopefully we don't get that anymore. So anything, animal rescues, like any mission, like anything, any mission you can think of, there would be a time there is like an emergency relief, you want to participate on that. If you do not have capacity to participate and to help people, how can you help them? That's gonna take me to the myth I want to share with you today, but I want you to think about those stuff again. Can you help the people if you do not have the capacity? And capacity, what I mean with capacity here for the life today is having money in your nonprofit, having staff in your nonprofit, having a qualified people that helps you in nonprofits. You cannot keep qualified people if you do not pay them fairly. You cannot help your emergency relief if you do not have the money, or you do not have the people that are qualified to perform your programs. You cannot report for the IRS what they want you to report. You cannot report for your state. You cannot stay in compliance with your federal and state and probably county, whatever the requirements in the area you are performing. You cannot do any of that if you do not have capacity, if you do not have the money, if you do not have the people, if you do not have the qualified people and the knowledge that you need to keep track and to keep your organization in a good standing. You cannot have all of that. So how come I've been hearing for years, and I'm surprised this myth still alive until now, and I haven't seen a lot of people addressing this. How come IRS wants you to keep track of a lot of things, require you to do a lot of reporting, a lot of things? Otherwise, they will withdraw your exempt status, or a lot of other penalties you might and consequences you might be entitled to, and then tell you you cannot keep your money in nonprofit. Every year you have to drain your account. What? Every year you have to drain your bank account. You cannot have money. Nonprofit cannot carry over their balance from year to year. They have to spend it all. Type in the chat if you've heard this before. Even if you're watching this in the replay, comment under this video and tell me, have you heard this before? Do you think that yourself? Nonprofit cannot keep money in their bank account and carry it a year to year? Do you think after all these things that I told you that it's required from you, this would be logical? It's not. There's nothing says you cannot carry fund from year to year. There's nothing that says you cannot keep money in your nonprofit accounts. Nothing. And if you have something, please share it with me. I would love to see, where did you guys get this from? There's nothing, because how can I tell you you have to give me $100 for this, to give me to pay for audit so I can give you a fund, and you have to do all these reports for me, file your 990s, do all of that, but you cannot keep money in your bank account. How can I tell you you have to fulfill this mission and pay for emergency fund because this is your mission? Well, there's nothing, like tell you have to, but your beneficiaries and the people over there, the audience, would expect you to help these people, like for emergency, if this is your mission. And how can you be expected to do that and you cannot keep money in your account? How are you expected to keep your books a certain way and have a reporting in a certain way? And actually, it's much harder and need more qualified person in that specific area. And yet, I tell you, you cannot keep money in your account year to year. How can you keep staff? How can you afford to have a benefit for your staff if you do not pay your staff fairly? If you do not have benefit for them, eventually they will leave you, because they might have joined you because they believe in your mission, but life comes on the way. They have to do something for their own life. They have to take care of a family. They have to help their children. Whatever this something comes in their life, they might see themselves forced to leave you alone. Same thing for volunteers. They cannot commit to you. They might now have time for you. Later on, they might go somewhere else, and nothing guarantees in life. You have to plan for that. You have to have money in your account. You have to have your emergency fund. You have to have everything of that. Nothing says that you cannot keep money in your account if you are a nonprofit. Yes, you can. Yes, you have to cover yourself. Yes. And what you cannot do is to profit as a nonprofit. Well, that's also additional conversation that we're not going to talk about this today, but you cannot, have a personal interest as a person. But for the nonprofit, yes, you have to be able to hire qualified people. You have to be able to pay your employees. You have to be able to provide them with benefit. You have to be able to afford an auditing to you have to be able to pay a grant writer. You have to be able to pay marketing consultants. You have to be able to hire a good HR management manager. You have to be able to find a lawyer that's going to help you fulfill your mission. You have to be able to do so many things. You have to be ready in case of emergency. You are helping these people. So I don't want to hear you say that anymore. Yes, you can keep it. You have to have a plan. Hopefully you have a strategic plan. Hopefully you know where are you spending this money for, but keep the money. Don't just rush and try to spend it. I'm not saying that you're not helping the people you are supposed to help. You should help them, and you should actually be honest with your donors. But there's a way, there's a strategy, there's a lot of things that will help you fulfill everything. We can talk about a lot of things later, but for now I just want you to know that is nothing wrong of keeping your money in the bank as a nonprofit. You do not have to drain it. That's a myth. I don't know who came up with, and please share with me if you have a source for that. There's no source for that, as far as I know. Again, if you have something saying that, please share it with me. Again, so let me know if this is a myth you believe in. If you've heard someone saying that as well, let me know in the chat, and I would love to hear from you guys. And if you need help running your nonprofits, if you need help to build your nonprofit and get funded, please book a call with me, or just go join my free masterclass. We have a free masterclass coming this February, and I would love to have you there. It's totally free. I'm gonna show you the strategies that I used helping my clients get into 7-figure and build their 7-figure nonprofit organization the right way. So if you're looking to have that, please make sure you do it. And now we are in tax season. Also, if you need help with your taxes for your personal, nonprofit, or business, feel free to book a call with me. And here's the link on my link tree. It has all the links, all the important links you will need to have. And let me know if I can help you with anything. Again, book a call and join my masterclass, and I will see you later. Bye. Well.